Alright, welcome back, guys. So, we had our mining and music messing around live stream, and I just missed that jump horribly. And we got a bit of the copper dug up here, not anywhere near as much as I need to. Basically, just taking the top of it off. So, we're just getting into the small ores. We don't really want to use the big ones because A, we can make a macerator and double them, and B, we can get a fortune pick and get double, possibly triple of the raw ore that comes out of it with the fortune, depending on what fortune we end up getting. So we want to be able to fortune our ores and then be able to macerate them. So I just use the crush, which we've got a pretty good amount of them. I also went and mined some of the cassiterite vein we got over there. Most of this crushed tin, though, because you don't get crushed tin, I should say all of this crushed tin, I got from small ores I found around in the world, and then some cassiterite as well. But what we're doing today is getting rid of this burning box, because that thing is horrible. So I've got some bronze plates. I got the double bronze plate that we made last time. And somewhere around here, I have clay, I think. I may have taken it over to the new place. So we found a new place. I'll show you on the map. We are going to be moving over to this area right here. Yes, I died a couple times in the live stream. We're going to be moving to this area right here. I've laid out part of the framework of the place already, but I need to get a lot of that shale dug up, which I'm going to work on this week. I already broke one pickaxe, so I'm going to have to I had to make another one. I also made myself a bronze axe, because it is a lot better than having to keep crafting one of those crappy flint ones. Also, we found some red granite with our lignite we found, and we're using lignite for our fuel right now. Oh, I need to go get, completely forgot what I was doing. I need to make a shovel yet. Oh, we also found 2 bedrock veins. If you're ever out picking up rocks and you come across raw ore like this laying on the ground as a rock, that indicates a bedrock vein. And we found galena and cassiterite. And the cassiterite is not very far from here. It's right over there. Alright, so I'm going to go grab some clay. I did start moving some stuff over to the new place, so it's possibly over there at the new place. I tried to leave everything I needed here, but I apparently forgot. So, be back with you, and we will get our new burning box made in just a minute. Alright, so I went and got the clay. I'm getting it cooked up here. There is our clay. And we're going to need 3 bricks. And then we need our bronze plates, our double copper plate, and our wrench. And there is our burning box. Now, if you guys go through the old way, like I did, you'll get double the cookies, because you'll get one for that one. And in case you only go the brick burning box way, there's now a better burning box please quest. And you get a cookie there. So for completionists, make sure you do this so you get 2 cookies. Okay, so the next thing we need to work on is our additional tools. And I'm actually going to do this a little bit different. If you notice that it keeps transferring through and occasionally it'll show the pocket multi-tool, I'm going to make the multi-tool and see if it will actually give me the cutters, the screwdriver, and the saw quest, so I don't have to make one for each one of them. But the main thing that we're going to work on right now is we will need to get a pair of pincers. Pincers are awesome, because if you notice, when I'm pouring metal, I always wait to grab it so I don't catch on fire. Well, with pincers, you can grab them out of there when they're hot. I guess not catch on fire, but take damage from it being too hot. So we're going to work on getting that done today. I also wanted to show you I've managed to get 3 meteorites and a big meteorite. And if I throw this into a macerator, I will get 4 out of it. So this is worth 4.125. That would be 4.5, so 4.5 for just the big one. And then each one of these is 2.25. So that is a pretty decent amount of meteorites. You can use meteorites for a flint and tinder, but I would not do so, as that is probably the worst use for it, because you can make magnetic tools, you can use it to level up a crucible, things like that. I'm thinking, is there anything else I've seen? I am going to put out a new version of the pack with the updated quests in it. There isn't going to be a new GregTech version in this update. It'll just be a minor update. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys this as well. It's probably not the best thing to do this early when you don't have a bronze anvil, but you can hand crush your ore. You will get a dust and 9 1/72 of tin dust out of it, and then that way you don't have to clean the stone out of it when you throw it into the crucible, and you won't have to pre-cook it down to clean out your excess. And if we take these and put them together like that, that'll give us our 0.111 tiny dust. And then we still have a 0.013. So I think it actually gives you just a little bit more. If my math isn't wrong here, that gives you 0.124 versus oh no, it actually costs you just a little bit in tin, because that would be 0.124 versus 0.125. So I think it's technically the same thing, but to me, not having to sit there and refine it down in the thing, it's kind of worth it. Although with that anvil, it's kind of not, because you can only do 10 of them before it breaks. We'll be making a bronze one very soon. I just have to make a mold for it, which we did make extra molds. If I didn't take the molds back over, sure, I might have taken the molds back over. I'll make a new one. The other thing that I found that is kind of interesting is you can take a flint and a file and make flint arrowheads. You get 4 of them, and if you put them on a headless wooden arrow, or you have to craft these now to make arrows, you actually get a fire aspect 1 arrow rather than a regular Minecraft arrow. And it only costs you 1 flint for 4 instead of 4 flint, or 1 flint for 1. So once you get a file, you can do that. You can also use the grindstone, I do believe, to do that as well. Yeah, sharpener. So you can also use a grindstone to do this once you get one, or the sharpening machine. And there is my mold. Alright, well, since we found that, let's get one more clay here. We'll make a brick, and I'll go ahead and make the ingot mold. So we just do this. That'll make our ingot mold, and we can cook that up. So I'm going to need 7 ingots to make a new anvil. And here is all of my lignite. I just took a hammer and broke it in world, mined it with the hammer. That way I got a decent amount of lignite. Instead of getting the raw, I could actually double it up by doing it with the hammer. And the nice thing about having it in the crush form is, if you don't want to, if you're doing something that's like, say, iron, that's going to get really close to the 2500 that this melts down at, you can stick it in here and get tiny crushed and use that to cook with, and that burns up quicker than a full piece, although lignite is like a quarter of a coal or half a coal, I can't remember. Let's see, fuel value, so this will smelt 4.5 things, where coal does 8. So if it was regular lignite dust or brick, it would probably be 4, so it's half. But by doing it with the quarters, it would be like 1 or something like that. A little bit over what a stick is. But I'm going to go ahead and get some smelting done here, and I will be back with you when I get some more of this done. Although I just thought about it, one thing I need, let me look at the multi-tool real quick. Does it need a bolt? No. Good. Okay, so we need a saw blade, a screwdriver tip, a file head, a plate, 2 rings, 2 sword blades, and a chisel head. And we can make them from a plate and a rod. We can also do the raw one. So I can actually make a chisel mold. We can also do the sword mold. So let's look here. That is the arrow. That's the chisel, so it will take a metal chisel, so we at least have to make some metal chisel. We can do lead, which wouldn't be a problem for that, or we can just make the head and then use that. I'm going to try to do that. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, is we'll just make the multi-tool, and for the chisel head we'll do this recipe because we already have the rod and plate, and then we'll see if we can make the chisel mold with the multi-tool, and then we can do the sword blade, but we can actually pour that because that'll save on durability of our hammer. If we do the raw one, we don't need the hammer. If we do the plates, nah, screw it. I'll just do the plates. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6. Again, saw mold, we're going to need the saw to do it. So we'll just use 2 plates and make that. Screwdriver, same thing. That just takes rods. And then the file is 2 plates. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 10 plates. And 2, 3 rods, and then we can't do the roll bender recipe. We can do the anvil, but we can actually make a wooden ring, and then we can do the ring mold. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So for that one, we can do that, which is just a knife and a piece of wood. There's a plank of wood. I'll have to make another knife. There we go. So we can put that in there, that in there, and there we go. We now have a ring one, and I'll just burn these as fuel in the furnace or something. They really don't have a use other than making this mold. But the reason why I was bringing that up is the first thing I want is the pincers. But to make the pincers, you need a screw, and a screw is 2 bolts and a file until you can get a lathe. Then it's just going to take 1 bolt, but for right now it's going to take 2 of them. And to get a bolt, you can either cut a rod, which is half a ingot's worth of material, which is going to lose you half an ingot's worth of material. In doing so, you can cut it into 4, but again, we don't have one of those yet. You can extrude it. We don't have one of those yet. But you can also make a bolt mold. If I could actually type today. But for that, we're going to need these little sticks, and we need a saw to do so. So we're going to do the saw first by way of the multi-tool, since it doesn't take any bolts, and then we can use that to make our bolt mold, and then we'll make our pincers. So I'm going to get started in getting everything we need for that multi-tool, which I need to bring up here because I will completely forget what it is and have to come back in here and count everything up again. But with that amount, since we need 3 rings, if we pour those 2 rings, that'll equal the other amount. So it'll be an even amount of material that we need. So it was 2, 3, 5, and then 6 plus those, and that makes 7, 12. So we're going to need 12 bronze total to make this. And so I'm going to get working on that, and I will see you guys in just a bit. Except I don't want to have to deal with this ash. So I'm going to go ahead and make a lead hopper, which I need 5 lead to do so. Well, I guess I've got to get this cleaned out either way. So give me a minute. Let me clean this out, and I'll be back. And when I get back, we're either going to make a multi-tool or we're going to make a hopper. Depends on what I have left in this crucible, and if I decide to just say screw it and cook it all at once. I will save you guys the heartache of watching me sit here and smelt all this stuff. Be right back. Alright, so we got all our bronze done, and I ended up with an extra ingot's worth and enough to make a hammerhead. And we got a little bit of copper left in there. I'm not quite sure how much is in there because I've been throwing in these scraps. I did go ahead and break down the rest of the tin we had on the anvil, so I had a even amount of that. I'll put the leftovers in here along with that leftover copper, and we're going to break our anvil, which will leave a lot of black granite pebbles, which we can break down in the crucible and re-pour. We do have the bronze we need here to make a new anvil. As I said, this one has 100 durability on it. Go ahead and turn this into our new hammer. And one thing you will be able to see with these metal anvils here, you can see it with the stone ones too, but if you pick it up, it'll actually tell you how much durability is left on it. So as of right now, there's 96 durability left on this anvil. You'll also know at the bottom it says contained material is 7. If you're very frugal with your materials and you want to not have to make or waste your bronze and deal with a bunch of scrap, you can actually pick that up, throw it right back in this crucible, and re-pour it. Alright, so that should be the copper. So apparently whatever copper we had in there was just some residual from melting down other things. Basically I was doing the tetragems. So let's go ahead, and I got these off of zombies. Makes it quite nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this lead poured. I did find actual lead, so we didn't have to use galena. Galena's not quite as good as, well, it's not pure lead. So galena will give you only 3 nuggets, where the pure lead gives you an ingot plus. So I'm using regular lead here. So we only have to throw in 5, and we'll let that burn off for just a second. You can kind of see the smoke coming through the gravel, which is quite nice. Eventually we'll use glass when we set up a piston. That way you can actually see if it's still burning. This being such a low temperature material, it's not really a big deal. It's not going to burn off with that full thing of lignite I had in there. Now, let's go ahead and get this poured. You don't have to wait too long because it melts at what, 600, 500, 600. So it's probably only at like maybe 700 right now with how much it heated up. So it cools off to ambient temperature pretty quick. Like with bronze, I count to 10. With lead, 2 or 3 after it solidifies, you're good to go. And then things like iron, you probably want to count to like 10 or 15. All right, so in the total of what I did today, I used 24 lignite. So that's not bad. Way better than if we use that brick burning box, because the lead is, I think it's 75 or 85 durability or efficiency versus the 25 of the brick one. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see how much we got here. So that is 4 ingots worth and 2 extra. So I'm going to leave them. You can only stack them in a max of 18, but when you pull them out of like a crucible, you'll get them higher. Alright, so we need to make 2 sword blades. So we're going to need the hammer and crap, don't have the file. Alright, hammer and file, 2 sword blades. And then we need the hammer and a rod. And I could never get this in the right order. There's the chisel. And then we need the screwdriver tip. There's that. We need the saw, which is like that. We need the file, which uses a knife. And then we need one in the middle. So chisel, screwdriver. I think these 2 are backwards. Yeah. Saw, plate. Our 2 rings go here and here. Our screwdrivers go there. And there is our multi-tool. I love this thing. It is great. And the durability on it is 179 versus a regular tool only being a max of 44.8. So it takes in account like all of the tools that you used to make this. But because you're not going to be using it for most of the tools, like a chisel, you're probably not going to actually use very often. You really only need it for doing molds. So all of that wasted durability can be for other tools on it. Quite nice. I love the Multitool. So now let's check. Now see, it says I don't have any of them, but if I open it, there's a knife, there's a saw, completed. Shift again, there's the file, which we already had, it's not on the list. There's the screwdriver, it's completed. And there's the wire cutters, it's completed. So that took care of all of them. Now we just need to do the hand drill, the pincers, and the soft hammer. Also on here you have a pair of scissors and your chisel. That's what the two sword blades are for, by the way. That's the scissors. Which we are going to be using those scissors to make a backpack in the next one. So in this mod pack, we have better storage, and you need a pair of scissors to craft it with 2 string, a chest, 4 leather, and a gold plate. And we have found plenty of gold. I have to go get one. So I'm going to go grab a thing of gold. We've only found the gold because Greg added vanilla-like ore layers, and we have gotten a bunch of them. I'm actually that one gold bearing rock I used to make a fire starter, a flint and tinder, is actually what we're short. If I wouldn't have used it, we would actually have enough that I wouldn't have to go get the ore. Dagnabbit. Because these are... Oh, wait a minute. Greg changed these, didn't he? I completely forgot about that. That's actually 2.25 units. So if I do 3 of them, that will give me... 2 of them will be 4.5. So yeah, I can just melt... Well, I could literally just melt down one of these, and that'll give me enough. Okay, so in the next one, we're going to use these lead plates, make us a hopper, and set that up for clearing this, and we're going to make us a backpack. So I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.